I don't know if anybody has ever had to change brakes on the rears in these old Mopars, but they've got a tapered shaft, keyed shaft that you have to pull off in order to get the drums off the thing. Kind of a pain in the ass to get off. Unfortunately, in the video you're about to see, you don't see the thing pop off, but you see how I used the puller, the type puller I used. So, sounds easy enough. As you'll see, nothing works out quite that easy. I had some lug nuts that were in questionable condition. One I knew was stripped out already. Some others were a little on the rough side. I had new ones put in it, thought no big deal. As I start pulling on the thing, of course the lug nuts strip out, popped off of it. So I weld one, kind of think, well, I'll just do a little tack to it. Tack broke loose, so and I ended up having to go in and actually spend a little time doing some welding. Weld the thing good and solid. Put a heavy pull on it and let it set for a while. Spread it with a little coil. Hammer it on a few more times. Beat on the end of the puller, and then all of a sudden it just decided to pop loose. Brakes have been replaced on this truck now. Got all new drums all the way around it. Drive it, get the initial brake in, and I'll go back with a spoon and tighten everything up so that it's just right. I drove the truck the other day. Stops good. Again, get that initial burn in of these brakes and one more adjustment. We're going to start putting this truck on the road, and there's a new project coming. So guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and keep the comments coming. Let me know what you want to see. I have this strange feeling that I haven't been recording. Matter of fact, I'm willing to bet money I haven't been recording. Well, trying to pull this hub, and I've got two right next to each other that are absolutely stuck on there, so I'll do my best. Not going to put the greatest of welds on this thing, but I'm hopefully going to put enough that it'll hold it there. So let's tighten these up. Try to get that one busted out too. Guess I could always fire up the torch and put a little heat on this thing. So you missed out on the fun part of getting this damn hub off here. It's now off of it. It was not an easy one. If you're pulling one of these off, I suggest go ahead and get the puller. It has all 5 lug nuts, so you can get 5 points. I stripped out 2, had to weld it back, broke a weld, trying to tack it in place and put back, and finally welded the thing strong enough and spent a little extra time welding and pulled it on off. Still acted like it was struggling a bit, so I took it slow. And honestly just really had to kind of beat the crap out of it to get it off there. So not one to be taken lightly, but it's now off, so you can kind of see where the brakes are at. Some video. I've got all new hardware for it. New brakes. I did not get new drums for the rear, but these drums look to be in good shape, so not a big deal anyway. Beyond that, typical brake job. Take this thing down, clean it up real good. Rip these brakes on out of here. Now, of course, as always, clean all this out, and I do have new master or brake slave cylinders for them. Or wheel cylinders, however you want to say it. Alright, so it's cleaned up a little more. Of course, in my normal fashion, I went ahead and got ahead of myself and put the wheel cylinder on. You know, it's nothing more than sliding the damn thing on there, taking it loose on the back side, and tightening everything back up. It's not even one that I would put a whole lot of emphasis on proper torque. I do have my brakes laid out here. I've got the hardware kit that came with it, so I should have everything brand new to go on these brakes. I highly suggest anytime you do drum brakes, just buy the hardware kit. Buy the new springs. You know, it's generally they're going to be a whole lot easier to mess with. You know, a lot of times, I mean, everything on this one seems to be in good shape, but I mean, I'm going to tell you a lot of the time, what I see this one's a little different. Looks like everything's good, but the lower spring is a different style. Well, I think it works though. And those are nice and cleaned up. Two shoes. Longer side goes to the back, short side goes to the front. What I generally like to do is go ahead and put these on here, put my springs to hold them, and then work all my other springs around to put them on. If you ever try to do brakes, you don't have one of those, get one. Don't care how good or how cheap or anything else, at least have one. Swear, that makes so much difference. Look at it, never mind. I know which way, just like that. Alright, so I am not a fan of using these old springs, but without being 100% sure how the old ones went, I don't want to do that either. All right. And that is a brake job. Now I just need to, and what I like to normally do is take the drum and I'll put it on, I'll adjust these out so they're just barely touching. You can always do that too with a spoon, which I've got a spoon over there, but to be honest with you, get them close enough the first time without using the spoon. You don't have to dick with it at all. You put the spoon in, you adjust them. If they get out of adjustment or they start to soften up, and you keep them nice and tight out to the end. And one of the problems with drum brakes is they tend to do that kind of stuff. They get out of adjustment and you have to play with them and you have to adjust and no big deal. And they don't stop as well. But, you know, disc brakes are a higher pressure system too, so, you know, there's to go with that. But much easier to maintain and everything about them. So this has been a budget build. We're going to do this all stock. I'm going to drive this thing for a while. And of course, if I decide to keep this truck, then we're going to put disc brakes all the way around it. All right. So like I said earlier, when you first put these things on there, you're going to be able to get to this adjuster and move it exactly where you need it. So you're better off just to go ahead and give it that little adjustment it needs. And then you can worry about sliding this on. Kind of feel them just hit just a little bit. Yeah, that's just right. So they're just missing it. So in order to do this now, clean this out. Put a bit of never sees on this thing. Wear that shit for a year. That's how it is. Yeah. All right, there we go. All right. Yep. It actually works out great. Now, not sure what the torque should be on this. So I'm going to turn this up. It seems to be lined up there and there. No, it's not there though. Alright, so there's that to that. Oh, voila. Hopefully this goes up in there good. Not a lightweight at all, but putting these on with Alright, so they're on. I have them all. When I drop this thing on the ground, that's when I'll put a torque wrench on it, and I'm going to torque these all properly. Yes, again, I'm putting a torque wrench on it. It's really warm right now, and I've got one break done basically on the whole day. But I did get my backyard mowed, so you know I took a break while it was sitting there under heavy duress, and it sprayed with Croil before I came out here and beat on it some more. Hopefully the other side I've learned something, and it will go a whole lot faster than this one. Right now, man, I'm gonna tell you, it's hot. Yeah, I don't have my hat on. It's hot.